We talk about feedback marking, we often look at kind of 3 strands when we're looking at children's work, whether there is any common misconception in their work, if they need to consolidate an aspect of the lesson, or if their learning needs to be pushed on to the next level. So as we mark through the children's work, we're looking at those 3 aspects to see what the children needs as individuals in order to move on to the next step in their learning. So for example, in a book here, we were discussing about multiplying by 1,000, and the child has shown that they have a good understanding it, and they've actually managed to thought bubble how they would multiply any number. So she showed a really good understanding of that. So therefore, there wasn't the need for consolidation or to correct any misconception. The next step for her would be to actually place it in a problem-solving situation. So I set a task out for Deji, requiring her to make decisions and to put the multiplying into a problem rather than it being out of context for them. And this enables individual pupils to make really good progress, and ensuring that this is built into our maths lessons weekly to make sure that the importance on that feedback marking is translated to the children.
And do the children have to respond to the feedback?
Yeah, it's quite a structured part of the lesson. It usually is done the next day, so it's immediate to the children, so that the learning is fresh in their minds and referring to the learning walls, so that they are able to almost complete it independently. So it's an independent task rather than a teacher-led task, because it through the feedback marking, the children is led through their learning.
Fantastic. And that's through maths, isn't it?
That's in maths, yeah.
And literacy is pretty much the same. When we deep mark a piece of literacy once a week, and we ensure that the children know exactly what they've done well and what they need to get better at in the next steps, and the next steps are then responded to by the child, so we know as teachers that they've either understood the misconception or that we need to put that into our planning for the next week.
One of the best things that we found to do in Year 5 is refer to our planning and our steps to success, and we pick out our steps to success to give our children the 2 stars and a wish. The wish is generally, we use the highlighters to highlight something in green and to tell the child how they can improve that in the next session.
Excellent.
And that next step is usually very actionable, it's precise, and we also provide the scaffold to ensure that the child responds in the desired manner and uses the vocabulary, the structure, and the language that we require, and that would show us that that child moves on to the next level in the learning.
I think it's really important to let the children know that you actually do look at the feedback marking and you acknowledge it after they've done it.
Yeah, so in maths we acknowledge mark every day to ensure that there are no misconceptions, and we make sure that at least one piece of work in maths a week is fed back to children, so they have a next step in terms of a problem-solving activity or something they need to do to close a particular misconception.
And that's discussed as a year groups or in phases to make sure that people are feeding back at the similar time, so that that misconception is picked up and it can lead back into planning for future